Hola, soy Karim Saba desde powermetal.cl, el podcast live, y estoy en esta ocasión presentando lo que será la entrevista junto a la gente de DIETH, don Dave Ellefson, conocido por su gran carrera como uno de los grandes artistas del thrash metal mundial, y Guilherme Miranda, también conocido por su trabajo en ENTOMBED A+D. Entonces, vamos a estar saludando a nuestro auspiciador, que obviamente no me da ningún pago, que es Nuestra, así que vamos a abrir y vamos a estar conversando con ellos en menos de un minuto. Así que obviamente esta entrevista por temas de horario ha sido grabada, pero la pueden disfrutar, va a estar obviamente colocada en Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, y además que recuerden siempre apoyarnos a través de poniéndole like, suscribiéndose a los videos y sumándose al patreon.com/powermetalcl o a YouTube Membership. Así que sin más introducciones, le damos la bienvenida a Guilherme Miranda y don Dave Ellefson, ambos miembros de DIETH. How are you, men?
Great.
Very good. Yeah.
Okay. Now, normally I do an interview in English, and then I take some minutes to explain in Spanish because we are from Chile, and normally the Latin America people doesn't speak too well the English. So it's okay.
Yeah. I can risk answering some of the questions in Spanish for you guys to have some some nice vibe there if you want.
No, it's okay. Thank you. Okay, yeah. Cheers, and let's start. So, first question for Dave. Dave, you're a legend of thrash metal. We all know that. And I find this shift to more extreme sounds that are very interesting, the sounds of DIETH. What led you to doing a project closer to death metal?
You know, our friend Opus from a band called Dead by Wednesday up in Connecticut had done the introduction on email to me and Guilherme. And I heard the first song, which became In the Hall of the Hanging Serpents, and I loved it. I thought it was so cool. And that was the beginning. And from there, more songs developed, and here we are with a full-length album. So it spoke to me as a heavy musician that I really liked it.
Ok. Guillermo, si quieres tú nos traduces y complementas cómo fue esto de tener a Dave Ellefson trabajando en un proyecto de metal, tú que vienes de Entombed, mucho más en el estilo.
Sí, sí. Bueno, cuando nosotros empezamos a hacer esta canción así con In the Hall of the Hanging Serpents, yo envié todo a Michal porque yo quería un baterista, yo quería grabar una batería así brutal, con un sonido muy natural y todo, y Michal tenía ese concepto de grabar todo con micrófono, todo con un take bien grabado, él es un baterista polaco, así que para él hay que tocar, y esto me encantó con su actitud. Y cuando nosotros entramos en contacto con David, yo quería hacer unas canciones pesadas, pero yo no quería repetir Entombed, o repetir a Crow, o repetir a todos los proyectos más extremos que yo toqué, porque esto yo lo hice muchos años, mucho tiempo, y yo no voy a hacer yo no quiero hacer una repetición de El Guitarrista, una copia parte 2 y sabe, así, continuar haciendo lo mismo. Entonces, cuando David entró con su sonido de bajo, la banda se quedó mayor, más, hablamos más grande y con más identidad, así, y fue para un lado un poco más trash. Y David me habló de The Hall of the Hanging Serpents, así, yo estaba como, man, estos coros que tú haces con la guitarra y la combinación con el vocal, hay una melodía allá que es death metal, es thrash metal, pero tiene algo un poco más complexo que esto, que abrange más estilos, y me encanta esto. Y así nosotros empezamos a configurar la banda muy rápido, porque musicalmente nosotros no entendemos muy rápidamente, y esto funcionó muy bien.
Okay. So, for Dave and for Guilherme, what do you feel like the album was released 5 days ago, I think? So what do you feel right now? Are you really happy with the, I don't, speaking about the reception of the people, because the fans can say whatever they can. They say, hey, this is not Entombed, this is not Megadeth. But what do you feel about the album? Do you like it for real? Or do you say, I want to do something more extreme, or I will change that in the next album?
I think we made a really strong first album, and we didn't just write the same song 10 times. We explored. You know, we have a sort of progressive song, a sort of musical jam. There's the ballad, if you will. You know, we did a lot of stuff on this record that I think was unexpected, and I think that's the fun of it, is for us to enjoy making this music. And you know, when you make your album, you record it for you, but once it comes out, now it's for the public.
Yeah.
So now it's their album.
Guilherme, ¿tú qué piensas de este álbum? ¿Representa realmente tus ideas que tenías de lo que querías hacer con Diet?
Sí, sí, representa muy bien toda la idea, y lo que pasa con esta canción es que es como David habló, así, cuando usted está grabando el disco, usted graba para ti, graba consigo mismo, y cuando el álbum está lanzado, él es del público, sí. Pero lo que me gusta mucho en este disco es esto. Nosotros escribimos canciones distintas que tienen que abrangem varios estilos y varios caminos que nosotros gostamos musicalmente de explorar. Y yo estoy muy contento con este álbum porque es quizá el primer álbum de mi carrera, así que yo no estoy muy preocupado con los reviews y nada, porque yo sé la calidad que tenemos puesto en este disco, la calidad musical, la verdad que está en las letras, y todo el trabajo que nosotros desenvolvemos fue muy bueno. Entonces esto deixa nosotros tan contentos y tan así, confiantes en todo, que el resultado está muy bueno. Así, el álbum salió en el viernes y el domingo tenemos así más de 110,000 plays. Escuchas solo en Spotify. Entonces eso para nosotros fue así como la aceptación de la banda está un espectáculo. Nosotros hicimos nuestro primer concierto ahora en Berlín en esto lunes y fue espectacular. Así, nosotros tocamos con Testament y el público estaba gritando las canciones de la banda, gritando el nombre de la banda y dando 100% de apoyo. Y yo no esperaba esto en el primer concierto, porque ellos conocían las canciones así como nosotros que tocamos la primera vez, ¿sabes?
La raja.
Entonces, la raja. Muy bueno.
Speaking about the name of Diet, what Diet means? I was looking in internet and I find two translations for Spanish. One is muere, like death. Another is from Greek, is like diet, like dieta. So what is the real means of diet, or doesn't mean anything?
You know, I think when we came up with the name, for us, it represented the death of our past, right? And in a good way, right? Like that part is over, and we found new friends, new songs, and new stories together. And that was what really cemented. And that was when we did the video shoot for In the Hall of the Hanging Serpents. That was the day, so that was April of 2022. And so not only did we have a new video, but we had a name and we had a logo, like quickly. We had new photos. It's like it all came together, you know, like, wow. We look like a band. We think like a band. We perform like a band, and it just was easy, you know. And I personally love being in an international band with friends from other countries, from Brazil, from Poland. To me, that's exciting, you know. So, you know, we're both in Gdansk, Poland, doing this interview right now, and yeah, and it's super great that the birthplace of the band is not where either Guilherme and I were not native Polish. So I love it. I think it's super cool. I think that this music needed to be international so that it's music for everybody, not just for one certain culture.
Cool. Guilherme, ¿qué dices tú? ¿Qué te parece a ti esto?
Sí, así cuando hay esta idea de eliminar el pasado y hacer algo nuevo, así es la mejor cosa que nosotros podríamos hacer, porque si tú se queda con esta nostalgia y intentando repetir a sí mismo todo el tiempo, lo que pasa es que tú nunca sales del mismo local, se queda siempre, ¿sabes? Así los hámster en la cajita así, en la rueda, sí, no sale del mismo local. Y cuando nosotros sentamos para hacer las canciones, hacer la banda, sacar la foto, hacer los vídeos, nosotros hablamos así, vamos a pegar esta banda, hacer una banda worldwide music, ¿sabe? Y salir tocando en todo el mundo, porque la calidad de las canciones hablan por sí mismas. Y esto nosotros hicimos, y DIETH esto, si fue una... Yo pienso que yo, Mijo y David, nosotros estábamos en un momento así de nos reinventar y salir de una parte pesada de nuestras vidas, ¿sabe? Yo ainda estaba muy traumatizado con esta cosa así ¿sabe? De alguien morir y el funeral en Estocolmo. Yo me cambié de Estocolmo, yo vivía en Suecia. Y DIETH parece que pegó esto, sí, organizó todo, ponemos esto de lado y vamos a frente. Y esto que representa toda la banda. Y yo pienso que esto está inspirando mucha gente también a salir de situaciones depresivas y todo, y se agarrar con fuerza a cosas nuevas y ir a frente.
Do you really feel happy? I have seen doing this interview. I feel that you are really happy with this. This is, I think, you aren't doing music. You aren't doing a family. It's real, or it's only a sensation?
No, it's totally real. Actually, I mean, what the hell would we be doing in Poland? We're about as far away from anywhere, right? From the United States, from Brazil, and yet, you know, we come here willingly because, you know, the people have welcomed us here. You know, Mihal, our drummer, is based here just north in Gdansk area here. And, you know, I love Guilherme, and I will walk down these streets to go get a coffee and talk about thousands of years of history, of world history. And we have these deep discussions, not about any music at all. We hardly ever talk about music unless we're in the studio or something, you know, but we'll have these discussions about very worldly things. You know, maybe for me as an American, because we're children over there, right? We're 200 years old. We're just kids getting going. And these countries that we visit, Brazil, South America, I mean, Chile, you know, or, you know, experience the, you know, to get a sense of people and how music really impacts them and why it impacts them. It to me, it's one of the greatest gifts as a musician is to travel and to experience not just, you know, the different stages, but the record is out and it's connecting so well with so many people around the world. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better summer present than that. What a gift.
Cool.
Yeah. Karim, just for you to check, while David was talking, I just thought about something very cool. We had our first gig in Berlin.
Okay.
You know, with a Polish crew, Brazilian guy, American guy, and our sound guys from Israel. So it was like
all the world in the same place.
We had, like, you know, man, people from all over the world just in our crew corridor. You know, so that was pretty funny, you know.
Cool.
And
heavy metal NATO. Yeah.
Entonces, Guillermo, ¿tú también sientes que esto es más que una banda, se está formando una familia después de todo lo que salieron, que me contaste tú, la muerte de Elgi Petrov, Dave, todos los problemas que tuvo? ¿Sientes que DIETH es una especie de familia que están creando y que, porque mucha gente dice, pero Dave is in a lot of projects, so there is a lot of people saying, Dave is doing the Lucid, DIETH, Ellefson, en Soto, but ¿tú sientes que esto es más que solo un proyecto, sino que es una verdadera potencia que va a seguir para la gente que piensa que esto es solo un proyecto? Yo lo tengo más o menos claro.
Sí, yo puedo hablar esto por mí, así que por mí esto es una banda y es nuestra nueva banda y yo estoy poniendo toda mi energía, porque mucha gente me ha llamado así para tocar en bandas y en proyectos y hacer giras como guitarrista así, pero yo en el comienzo yo pensé que esto podría ser un error y ahora yo sé que mis escolhas fueron las correctas para el momento. Sí. Yo busqué sacar un tiempo de todo así, yo no quería más tocar en vivo o salir de gira con ninguna banda, así, yo no me sentía con a vontade para hacer, yo no tenía la energía, ¿sabe? Con DIETH es todo lo contrario, así, yo estoy con energía de poner toda mi vida en esto, mi vida musical, mi carrera en cuanto guitarrista y todo. Y las otras cosas que yo tengo hecho con música, yo estoy tentando a no estar en el escenario performing así, yo estoy haciendo más cosas de backstage, porque ahí mi imagen en el escenario es con DIETH, ¿sabe? Y David está acá en Polonia también porque está poniendo toda su energía en esto y ahora es su nueva banda, es su nuevo input creativo y todo. Y nosotros tuvimos unas conversas así con nuestro manager y todo. Y esto es lo que nosotros hacemos thrash metal, death metal y nuestra carrera está embasada en esto. Los otros proyectos que vamos tocando así a veces una cosa aquí, otra allí, son buenos, son experiencias musicales. Tú haces una fecha aquí, otra allí, haces estos metal cruise, ¿sabes? Pero yo pienso que lo input así de banda, una banda que va a tener una carrera sólida y todo, tenemos un contrato de, no sé, David sabe esto mejor que yo, pero yo pienso que son 3 discos con Napalm y yo pienso que 3 discos son el tiempo correcto de construir la banda para que se quedara consolidada mundialmente. Yo pienso que con DIETH estamos bien, estamos indo rápido con esto. Sí. Entonces, sí, una nueva familia, una nueva banda y estamos all in, que nosotros hablamos. Estamos con todo dentro, así, no estamos pensando o, ¿sabes? Tirando el pie. No, estamos a socar todo.
Cool. When we are talking about the disc, the CD, you say that there is a lot of difference in the songs, and I know because I listened like 3 or 4 times right now. But there is a particular interesting moment, if I'm not mistaken, which is the debut of Dave Ellefson as a vocalist, as a singer. Mm. What did you decide it was the right time to step into that role, especially considering for that the album is primarily more extreme, because it is a ballad. For the people that doesn't hear that.
You know, for me, it's a comfortable song to sing because of the emotion of the song, the range, the pitch, the tuning of everything about it. My voice, I think, does well in that type of a storyteller setting. And, you know, Guilherme and Mihal, I think, had another agenda for me to step up and sing. But, you know, the truth of it is, you know, it's nice, you know, look, in the Beatles, everybody's saying, and Kiss, everybody's saying, you know, and it's, I like the idea that, you know, and we stumbled onto it just when we were in the studio working on the song. You know, to now have the 2 different voices between me and Guilherme, it offers some contrast, you know, even on some of the backing vocals on Mark and Kane and to Helen back and, you know, Don't Get Maggie, even, you know, there's a lot of different backing vocal stuff. And with my voice being very clean and Guilherme having a lot of
brutal voice,
throats. You know, just a very powerful sound to his voice. It really now starts to create a cool vocal dynamic rather than just only on the guitars.
Cool. Y Guillermo, ¿cómo nació esto? O sea, en el fondo, de la nada para ti. O sea, en el fondo, le están preguntando a Dave porque hay una canción que se llama Walk With Me Forever, que es una balada. Sí, es un disco de metal extremo que tiene una balada entre medio donde Dave debuta como cantante. Y Dave nos dice que era el momento indicado. Pero, Guillermo, ¿cómo se sintió esto? Porque, de nuevo, en Entombed no tienen baladas como esto.
Sí, sí.
¿Qué nace? ¿Cómo nace? ¿Cómo se siente esto?
Sí, lo primero es que así, yo pienso que nosotros tenemos muchas canciones brutales así, y tenemos canciones pesadas, canciones un poco más rock and roll, también heavy rock, sí. Pero es bueno esto porque DIETH tiene canciones brutales, pero yo no pienso que nosotros somos una banda de metal extremo así, stricto sensu, ¿sabes? Entonces, nosotros tenemos mucho espacio para manejar con esto, ¿comprende? Entonces, por ejemplo, en Heavy is the Crown, yo pienso que esta línea vocal que nosotros tenemos ahora con Joe y David haciendo estas armonías vocales es una asignatura muy especial, muy específica que tenemos. Y después que grabamos esta canción, yo tenía esta balada que no es una balada, es una canción pesada, sí, porque es todo hablando de muerte, sí. Es triste, es denso, es algo denso, sí. Y si usted mira unos discos así, por ejemplo, hasta Vatain, unos 2 discos atrás, ellos hicieron una canción muy densa también con unos vocales limpos y todo. Entonces esto en metal es algo que se pasa mucho. Y yo soy muy fan así de canciones como Fade to Black y cosas del tipo que en el otro setups que yo tenía con otras bandas, yo no tenía espacio para hacer canciones como estas. Y a mí me gusta mucho hacer canciones así con la guitarra, con el captador del brazo, totalmente limpo y hacer unos arranjos así, ¿sabe? Y ahora con DIETH yo tengo espacio para hacer esto. Y esta canción, cuando nosotros empezamos a hacerla, yo pensé así, no, David tiene que cantar esta porque la afinación va a casar con su vocal muy bien. Y cuando el David dice lo primero take, yo y Mihailo miramos una otra así como es esto. Y también da esta movilidad en vivo que podemos tener un show, ¿comprende? Dos personas cantando, nosotros podemos mover de un micrófono a otro y David tiene su momento, yo doy una respirada así, y este contraste de la voz muy distorcida con una voz un poco más limpa es muy positivo. Usted mira que Mastodon hace unas cosas así de tener más de uno vocalista, sí, ¿sabe? Entonces yo pienso que todo esto es muy positivo y da a la banda una identidad propia. Nosotros no nos quedamos repitiendo una fórmula que ya está, ¿comprende?
Ok. Hoy les quiero hacer unas preguntas. I want to ask you some questions, not about diet, sino about music in general, because I have two friends. One is Rolando Gonzalez, who is a very fan of your work, Dave. And he wants to ask, because you two are from the old schools musicians, how do you feel about the entry of artificial intelligence, which has led to people experimenting with composition entirely generated by machines? What do you think about that?
Machines making music, you're asking about? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. About that, because you put in the internet, you look for an EA and put, I want to, you do me a song, an extreme brutal metal song with with a letter, with a, to talk about love. And
you know, first of all, machines are created by man.
Okay.
And they will only do what man tells them to do, right? But they're not human. And I think the thing that we found with digital music, with digital technology over the years, is that it can be helpful, but it never replaces the human connection, all right, from a person to a person. And I've heard some AI music, and what I heard is that, you know, it's ones and zeros, right? Computer language is all a one and a zero, right? Just a bunch of those, right?
You can feel that.
You can feel it, yeah. And even we talk about this, you know, when DIETH performs, we use amplifiers, you know, with valves and speakers and microphones, and there's air moving, like right? Yes, yeah. You know, and you know, air from a speaker hitting your chest at you know, and bouncing off your pant leg, you know, on the stage. That is a very, it's an, even though there's electronics involved, it connects with the vibration, you know, because all songs are just spirit, right? They kind of come out of thin air. It's just spirit, right? It's inspired. And so and spirit is just vibration. It's just, you know, it's like electricity, it's vibration. So as we play, it's music and is turned into, you know, vibration. So it's all the same language. The problem with with the digital is it takes away all of that. There's no more of that electricity that sort of moves the speaker, that it moves the diaphragm on the microphone, it moves the valve of the amplifier when you can hear it screaming glass nectar, you know, out of it, and you hear it bouncing around the concert hall. You know, that's an experience that can only happen from people to people, you know. So you know, I think in our band we've tried to keep this very old school, if you will, just very organic, and I think that's why people like the sound of the album, because it's not a digital album at all. It's a very organic album just made by three guys, you know, and there's only three of us. It's funny, but it's only three dudes, you know. It's like we didn't bring in a bunch of extra people to play on it. What you hear, this is what we do, you know.
Guilherme, ¿tú qué opinas, o sea, de esto de la música generada por inteligencia artificial? Como miembro de una banda tan brutal como Entombed o de DIETH, una cosa muy, como dice Dave, que todo sale de tres personas creando.
No, lo que pasa es que toda esa mudanza de tecnología, yo pienso que nosotros estamos en el medio de un cambio tan grande que, no sé, en 100 años, 150 años es que no voy a poder tener una análisis completa de lo que se pasó así con Internet. Porque piensa así, esta cosa de smartphone y Internet y esta conexión que tenemos aquí ahora, há 20 anos atrás não teníamos esto.
Oh.
E se você pensar esto assim, sabe, em eras, história e séculos, 10, 15, 20 anos são nada. Eu não sei nem como analisar esto, compreende? Às vezes eu tenho dificuldade assim em fazer um post em Instagram que sale errado. Então, eu não tenho ideia de onde vamos parar com esto. Eu não tenho ideia, mas pensa assim, man, a internet no mató la radio, que no mató los jornales impresos. Hay readecuaciones en esto que están, ¿sabes? Hoy en día las revistas, así, los magazines printed, son en menor cantidad, pero tiene, ¿sabes? La TV aún que existe y coexiste con YouTube. Yeah. Entonces yo pienso que la inteligencia artificial va a ayudar, va a acelerar unos procesos, va a piorar otros. Pero, por ejemplo, esta cosa de batería electrónica, así de los plugins y los samplers, dejó mucho más evidente que un buen baterista es bueno. ¿Comprende? Sí. Porque ahora se pueden identificar muy bien quién está haciendo solo programaciones y todo. Entonces, yo pienso que va a tener un momento de shock, sí, pero después hay una readecuación de todo, ¿sabes?
Cool. Oye, another question from a friend of mine, Ignacio Perez. I want to ask you, what do you think, why the new generation are only listening to real shitty music or real, what do you think? Because there's a lot of, even the new guys doesn't do albums. They just put a single and then wait for the money, and then in 6 months, another single. What do you think? Because you decide to do an album, and metal normally wants to do albums or EPs, but the people are like, they don't like that. Oh, the normal people, not the Metallians, love the albums.
Well, Guilherme and I are lucky that we got into the business at a time when there were full-length albums, and the record contracts would have several albums. So as an opportunity to develop your following, develop a career, develop a fan base, right? And unfortunately, because of the internet and various changes in how music is distributed and listened to these days, you know, the attention span is very small. And TikTok's the perfect example, right? These short little ADD, you know, it's like
15 seconds.
And then, yeah, and then we wonder why mental health problems are at an all-time high, you know, because no one can fucking pay attention to anything, right? And so, you know, in fact, this interview, it's like you know, a half hour is like, oh my God, like, where's the highlights? You know what I mean? You know, people want the headlines, right? Just give me the headline, and then I'll decide if I want to read the story, right? So it's like that in all walks of life now, you know, because of that. And you know, I think, you know, when you're in a band, you know, that experience of performing together, you know, I was thinking, just looking at us on StreamYard, you know, during the pandemic, this was the only choice we had, right? But when Guilherme and I talked about filming in the Hall of the Hanging Serpents, we both said everybody is fucking sick and tired of these type of videos, right? And this is not the same, you know, everybody hold up your iPhone and shoot a video and we'll put it together. And when we all did it, you know, it's just part of it. But that's why, you know, he and I flew to Poland to film that video, you know, and that created a feeling. It created a band. It created a brotherhood. And the director and the photographer and the other people in the room, it's like you could really feel like, wow, this is and we're coming out of COVID. So it was a fresh experience again. Like, wow, real people in a room, you know, making music and camaraderie and community. And yeah. So, you know, to me, a song is only one part of it. You know, there's the song, there's the image, there's the feeling that, you know, out here in the street, there's a big festival here this weekend in Gdansk called the Mystic Festival. and I see the metalheads out here on the street with the tourists. You know, the tourists are here because it's summer. The metalheads are here because there's a fucking concert, right? And you can see the black T-shirts, whether it's Metallica or Ghost or whoever T-shirt they're wearing, and you can spot them, just like you can spot three of us. You got, that guy's a fucking metalhead. Yeah, that guy was a metalhead. And that feeling is that's our community, man, and it's worldwide. It's, you know, it's from Poland all the way down to Chile. This thing is community, right? So, you know, we're lucky we have this because we find each other around the world. You know, we find each other, and that's what DIETH represents, is we find each other. Family. You know, a Brazilian, an American, and a Polish guy. We found each other. You know, we found each other, and I think that's kind of bigger whole story of our band, is that you know, we are able to find each other in the midst of these billions of people on the planet. Three little dudes found each other and fucking plugged in and made some music together.
Guilherme, ¿algo que aportar? Dijo todo.
Sí, no, solo uma coisa para complementar lo que ele disse, é que eu penso que DIETH está tendo uma aceitação tão boa, porque nós não estamos pensando nesta coisa assim de comparar com lo que los niños quieren, lo que está pasando ahora y todo. Man, lo que funciona. Con esta banda, cuando nosotros estábamos en el estudio, David, ele pega su bajo, ele tem um sonido muito específico, ele é um cabo, um amp, e funciona. E comigo também, nós estávamos testando muito equipamento, eu parei com tudo assim, e disse, man, eu quero um cabo, me dá um Marshall e põe a distorção lo mais alta que se puede, e é esto. É uma banda de rock, man, vamos a tocar, o sonido está acá, compreende? E eu penso que isto é muito orgânico e por isso está funcionando. Mihal usa solo micrófono, ele é Polish machine, assim, e ele gosta de tocar e tocar forte, tocar correto, e ele pensa assim, então isto é muito orgânico e funciona, por lo menos funciona para nós. Se para os niños com novos estilos funciona esta coisa de TikTok e uma canção al año, bueno para eles, assim, pero não funciona para nós, metalheads.
Perfeito.
E assim é, eu respeito também os outros, sabe? Porque se nós queremos que respeitem nossa cultura, nós devemos ter limite e respeitar a cultura do outro, compreende?
Perfecto. One last question, and this is for Dave, because all the people want to ask this. I think you have a lot of time this question. I hope you don't get mad. If Megadeth were to call you to return, what would you say to them?
You know, they slammed the door in my face.
Okay.
And I didn't knock again. I just turned around and walked away. And, you know, bands are more than just a song, like we were talking about. It's about a brotherhood. And what that showed me is that while we may be brothers, we definitely are not friends. And, you know, I don't want to be in a band with people that I can't be friends with. I just don't. And I did it for a long time. You know, it was successful. So sometimes you put your hands in the golden handcuffs and you still say yes. I went back to the band in 2010 to save their ass because, quite honestly, they were firing James Lomenzo at that time. The poor guy. He's a nice guy. He's a good bass player. And I went back at Sean Drover's request. And Sean is a friend of mine, and it was the right request, because they put a tour on sale and didn't have a bass player who could play the parts called Rust in Peace, right? So I went back and I saved their ass, you know, and not just that, but also some personal stuff inside the band I helped fix too. And obviously it was celebrated and it was big. And, you know, at the end of the day, you know, having each other's back is what's important. And, you know, when I went through some personal stuff and they didn't have my back, that just showed, you know what, I don't want to fucking be in a band like that. You know, I just don't. And so, you know, look, to me, I will always do things for the fans, right? And so I guess, look, my attitude has always been keep a door open for the fans' sake, right? But when it comes to having brotherhood and having a new song and having a new story and writing the rest of my life, That's not going to happen over there in that band. And, so that's why I think when we talk about the fun and the excitement of what you see between us and DIETH, it is genuine. It's because I think on some level, the three of us have had that same experience in our own bands, right? And I think when you've been down those roads in another, again, we found each other. It's like, you're one too. Oh man, you're one, and we get in a room and we can have those experiences and just go, rather than be all negative and, talking shit about it, which is why I've tried to keep a pretty positive comment about it in the press, because it matters, and what you say and how you deal with it, which is why, look, once that door was closed in my face, I just fucking turned and kept going, and don't look back. So, I think what our band represents, and I think the song Severance, the last song on the album, says it best,
Yes.
is you can sever your past. You don't have to close the door on it because you can still remember it. You can learn from it. You can take those experiences into your next one. And I think that's where, don't get mad, get even. It's about, you don't have to, someone fires at you, you fire back. Someone fires at you, you just fucking dodge the bullet and you fucking move. And you go, fuck that. I'm not dealing with it anymore.
It's your problem. It's your problem, not mine.
Yeah. So look, that chapter of my life ended for a reason, and as I always say, relationships of people, bands, sometimes only for a season, right? A season of life, and always for a reason, right? So now that season is past, keep moving forward, and I like the view out of the front view better. If the front window of a car is big because you're supposed to look through it, the rear view mirror is very small because you're not supposed to be looking at it. Keep looking forward.
Yes.
So I like our view forward now. It's much better.
Guilherme, rápidamente, ¿cuándo vamos a ver a DIETH en Chile y en Sudamérica?
Nosotros queremos mucho tocar en Latinoamérica y para ser muy sincero, así, la respuesta que estamos teniendo del público latino tiene sido así, un espectáculo, man. Y yo pienso que las canciones son los tipos de la canción que nosotros que tenemos sangre caliente, así.
Ver en vivo.
Ver en vivo, yo pienso que esto va a ser así una masacre, man. Entonces, queremos mucho hacer el próximo año. Yo no sé si vamos a tener así la configuración de datas y sabe, todo lo arreglo que es necesario. O el trámite es muy largo porque envolve mucha gente, muchos vuelos, mucha estructura. Y yo no sé cómo esto va a funcionar para el próximo año porque tenemos mucha oferta para Estados Unidos, vamos a hacer gira en Europa, festivales, está todo muy rápido así. Pero yo pienso que el próximo año hay mucha posibilidad de hacernos el conocido, ¿sabe? Así de Brasil, Argentina, Chile, Colombia. El clásico, sí. Hay mucha posibilidad, estamos estudiando esto, pero yo pienso que va a ser súper bueno si podemos mostrar nuestro trabajo desde los primeros discos en Chile. Sí. Yo quería mucho tocar en Chile, va a ser así una experiencia la raja, weón. ¿Cachai?
Finally, to end the interview, I want to invite you to send a message to your fans in Chile and Latin America. Feel free to say whatever you want.
I'll go first since I'm the gringo who speaks English. Hey, I thank you. Muchas gracias for, another chance with the new band, with DIETH. I really appreciate it. I don't take it for granted. And thank you for your support. And I think you're going to like what this band has to say and what we have to offer for music.
Cool. Yeah. Guilherme.
Bueno, Chile, muchas gracias por todo lo apoyo, por los soportes que estamos teniendo con ustedes y nos vemos pronto en Latinoamérica. Sigan las redes de DIETH y el disco está tiene todos los links así para Spotify, para comprar el álbum y todo y viva Chile, ¿eh? ¡Vamos!
¡Vamos, Chile!
¡Vamos, Chile! ¡Viva Chile! ¿eh?
Okay, so Guilherme, David, I love the interview. I love your your
Gracias.
passion. I expect to see you even in Europe or Chile. I don't know I will be there in that time, but thank you for real.
Gracias.
Have a nice day.
Thanks so
Muchas
much.
gracias.
Good to see you.
Vamos.
Bye. See
Chao.
ya.
Chao.
Bye.
Ok, esta fue la entrevista con Dave Ellefson y Guilherme Miranda, ambos miembros de DIETH. Como siempre, lamentablemente por cosas de ritmo no la pude traducir, pero esperemos que puedan entender gracias al aporte de Guilherme. La entrevista obviamente queda en YouTube, Facebook, va a estar más tarde disponible en Spotify. Y no se olviden que seguirnos en redes sociales, darle like al video, si quieren suscribirse a nuestro YouTube Membership o a nuestro Patreon. Felices de todo el apoyo. Muchas gracias. Que tengan un buen día y nos vemos en nuestro próximo programa. Y ojo que se vienen más sorpresas. Que estén muy bien. Y los dejamos con el cierre del programa, como siempre. Hasta ahora. ¡Ya!